This time on Megashippers.
Hello!
In Germany, Captain Mark Bichowski loads one of the biggest and heaviest cargoes of his career.
Yeah, we hope nothing goes wrong.
5,200 tons of wind farm components that will eventually power 1 million homes.
Forward hanging, aft coming up, yeah.
He then needs to squeeze his ship, one of the biggest heavy lift vessels in the world, through one of Germany's narrowest canals.
Stern a bit more, forward fender almost touching. No, hold forward spring.
And in Pickering, North Yorkshire, Kieran Murray and Gareth Buscombe are struggling to load a 90-ton 1930s locomotive
That's bloody tight, that is.
and transport it 360 kilometres back to its permanent home in Didcot, Oxfordshire, before rush hour.
It's a big delay. It's really screwed up my plans for today. It's not what I needed.
Around the world,
We are going in. Let's go.
there's a hidden army of workers
Things can go wrong really, really fast.
who, in the face of danger and turbulent times, work in all weathers, day and night, to deliver no matter what.
Stop.
Step into the $6 trillion world of heavy logistics. Meet the people for who no load is too heavy,
Anything up in the air, it wants to come down.
no item too big,
It's a case of demolition, destruction, and make it happen.
and no route too difficult.
The more that I get off, the less stress that I have.
An industry dedicated to one common goal:
Keep it coming, mate. Keep it coming.
keeping the planet moving by land, air, and sea. Meet the Megashippers. Rostock, Germany. Since the 13th century, Rostock has been a pivotal port for maritime trade and shipbuilding in the Baltic. Its overseas cargo and fishing port currently handles 27 million tons of freight every year. Today, project manager Frank Escher has to get 6 vital sections of wind turbines called monopiles loaded for an offshore wind farm in the North Sea.
Monopiles, it's basically part of a foundation of offshore windmills. We have here a monopile. Basically, for this project, they are in between 65 and 75 meters long. The weight is about 800 to 1,200 tons.
With some the same length of a football field, and all 6 together weighing 5,200 tons, this is no ordinary load.
They will be transported in a horizontal position. Later on during the installation, they will be upended and then they will be driven into the seabed by hydraulic hammers, basically, and then will form the basic foundation for the windmill.
The monopiles are being taken 700 kilometres to Rotterdam. They'll then be installed 22 kilometres off the coast of the Netherlands as part of the Borsel wind farm project. And once construction is complete, will generate enough power for 1 million homes. Before loading begins, Frank has to check the steel cradles in the hold, known as the twin deck. 4 specially built and reusable cradles are needed to secure each monopile. The wood and rubber lining can be adapted to fit different sizes, creating a tight fit and friction so the monopile won't slip. 2 monopiles will be loaded in the twin deck with another 4 top deck.
What we have here in the twin deck is that there's stopper plates welded permanently on the twin deck, and once the cradle is in position, we just put a steel wedge in between, which is tack welded to have a close connection in between the stopper permanently welded on deck and the cradle, so that the cradle won't move with the cargo inside.
If 5,200 tons of cargo moves even a centimetre, the ship's centre of balance will shift, which could be catastrophic. Chief Mate Henning Cash briefs the team of 25 men on the longest, heaviest and most dangerous cargo load attempted at Rostock.
Good afternoon. Today voyage number 6 monopile from Rostock. 2 tandem lifts for the twin deck, 2 tandem lifts for weather deck, and 2 single oak lifts, also weather deck aft. Weather forecast as of now looks good until tomorrow late afternoon. We will be within the limits. Just keep in mind that everybody has the right to say all stop. If you see something going wrong, just say a word, we will stop. Good. That's it so far from my side. Okay, doke. Then let's go.
The first 61-metre-long monopile, weighing 820 tonnes, is jacked up by a self-propelled modular trailer known as an SPMT and driven at a speed of 5 kilometres per hour to one of the largest heavy lift vessels in the world. The Svenja, built in 2010, boasts 2 high-performance onboard cranes with a previously unheard-of lifting capacity of 2,000 tonnes and an outreach of up to 38 metres. Her 2 special slings are attached to the multi-million-pound monopile that took 3 months to build. Covered in special polyester, the friction created should prevent them slipping off.
These slings are on the forward and on the aft, so the chief mate is checking the position of the slings. They have been marked in advance so that we know exactly that the slings are in the right position. And once the chief mate has everything arranged down here, he will hand over to the master, and it's the master then doing the lift by ballasting the vessel.
Ready to lift. 1010 on the hook.
1010 on the hook.
The man charged with keeping the deck level as it takes on huge weights and cargo the size of an A380 aircraft fuselage is Captain Mark Bichowski. By pumping water in and out of different tanks called ballasts, he's able to change the buoyancy in different parts of the ship.
If you just use the cranes to lift up the load, then the ship will list to port side. And if you just use the ballast pumps, very soon the ship will start list to the other direction. So you need to control always the ballast, and you need to control the cranes to pick up some load so that you always maintain the list during the lift. Yeah, you can damage the trailer, you can harm somebody downstairs if the cargo starts moving. If 900 tons starts moving, it's the most important thing. I have my indicators here, but it's, yeah, you always need to communicate with the lift supervisor downstairs on deck or shore.
The move begins with the cranes gradually taking the weight. With a load this size, the only way to go is slowly.
Now we have about 750 tons on the hooks, which means there's about 70 tons remaining before it will be hanging.
Forward hanging, aft coming up, yeah.
Once the cranes are supporting the full 820 tons of this monopile, it will be raised in a tandem lift, taking 1.5 hours to complete. Monopiles are the first step in building a wind turbine. If any of these are damaged, it would delay the ongoing construction of the Borsell wind farm and its ability to power another 400,000 homes.
Now the cargo is fully hanging. We have this 820 tons hanging on the hook, and the cranes will start to hook it up to clear the SPMT. The SPMT will be driven out, and then we will continue to bring it inside the hold.
At a height of 30 metres and with no clearance on either side, the ship's onboard crane operators have to rotate the monopile 90 degrees to bring it into the hold. This is one of the most challenging and dangerous lift manoeuvres for a crane operator to attempt.
The crane drivers are quite experienced ones, so they are monitoring it themselves, and they would raise alert in case anything's going wrong. So it's important that the cranes do not start to push towards each other or to pull apart from each other, that there is no force acting on the slings, that the slings are always hanging vertical underneath of the crane.
The monopile is lowered at a rate of under 2 centimetres a minute. On touchdown, but before releasing the load, the team must be certain it fits in its 4 cradles.
The sound you can hear is now the rubber with high friction when it's getting compressed by the monopile. And that's when the monopile is sliding on very small steps on the rubber. So that's creating that sound.
To stay on schedule and be ready to depart, they need to complete the first stage of the load in 30 minutes. Predating the Norman conquest in 1066, the ancient market town of Pickering, 51 miles northeast of Leeds, is the gateway to the north of England. Opened in 1836, a rail link helped to develop trade with the port of Whitby, but closed as a main line in 1965. Parts of that line are now home to one of Britain's finest heritage railways.
This is the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. What's at Pickering? We actually are a steam railway that runs from Pickering to Whitby, and what we do is we give people the experience of how railways are run.
Managing the historic carriages and coaches is a very proud Kieran Murray.
I'm a Yorkshire born and bred lad, obviously, but I've become a rail enthusiast with a job actually. I wasn't, I got the job here and I got into it. It's sort of a bug, you just get drawn into it. I mean, these are living, breathing machines. I mean, when you see them when they're in full steam, they are just amazing.
Attracting over 350,000 visitors a year, steam engines are still a big pull. And it's clear Kieran has a favourite.
I'll show you the King. So the King we hired in for our annual steam gala, and it was an absolute success. The enthusiasts loved it. Wow, what a sight it's been seeing it go through our countryside.
Built in 1930, the King Edward II served London Paddington to Plymouth until it was withdrawn from service in 1962 and scrapped. After 20 years rusting in a scrapyard, it was painstakingly restored and since 2010 has proved one of the most popular steam attractions in the country.
So this is very unique. This was a King class. This was the biggest of the type ever designed by the Great Western. It really is a big brute. This is the only one working in the country. People love it. It's been a big hit with them, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, a big blue engine going through the Yorkshire countryside, you can't get much better, can you? It's Thomas the Tank on steroids.
Unfortunately for Kieran, after a successful season on loan, it's time for this 90-year-old, 90-ton locomotive to return to its permanent home at the Didcot Railway Centre in Oxfordshire. The challenge for Kieran and the team in Pickering is transporting this 2.7-metre wide, 4-metre tall, 20-metre long train and its tender or coal carriage on two separate trucks, 224 miles by road to Didcot, Oxfordshire.
So, wait, what I'll do, I'll go underneath, I'll just double check that everything's uncoupled, ready to split the locomotive from the tender. This is someone's absolute baby, you know what I mean? They've spent most of their life rebuilding this thing, so the last thing I want to do is break their toy. I mean, this is their crown jewel in their collection, like, so we've got to look after it for them.
With the coal tender and train separated, and news that the transportation trucks are arriving, Kieran needs to move the train and tender to the other side of the yard so that they can be loaded.
All right.
But without steam, she's going nowhere and needs a gentle pull, using an electric shunter.
I love my job doing this. If I could do this all day, not be in an office, I'd be happy. It's when you've got to go and do the office work, it's all a bit dull. But no, when I'm out here on the iron road, it's brilliant.
While Kieran collects the King, haulage manager and driver Gareth Buscombe from Unusual Heavy Load Specialists S.A. Smith is getting preparations underway to transfer the train and tender from track to truck.
We're just going to unfold the ramp now and get lined up on the over the railway line so we can get the ramp built and we'll get the trailer at the right angle because you want the slope to be as gentle as you can. Proper job. And then we'll get the engine in, pushed up to the rails, and then we'll winch it up onto the trailer.
Gareth is basically building a ramped railway track at a 20-degree angle. Kieran will push the King to the base of the ramp using an 08 electric shunter. Then Gareth will winch it up the rest of the ramp and secure it on the trailer. But deliberately derailing 90 tons of historic engine poses a challenge.
These are tie bars we're putting in, so it stops the ramp from spreading. It'll just fly apart else. Lay it down, Mel.
While Gareth works on the ramp angle,
Righto.
Kieran arrives with the King Edward.
So what I'm doing now is take it up to the ramp. We'll get it there, we'll get the winch on it and start getting up the ramp. There's a lot to go wrong on this. It's all about just getting it right at the start. You don't want to be doing it halfway through, you want to get it right before you even start it.
But I go under one side.
Proper preparation is everything.
So what the guys are doing at the moment is they're just packing it up at the moment, just so it's a nice even weight throughout. You know what I mean? You don't want it where there's a big gap between because it could stress the rail, crack, fracture. It's amazing, these small bits of wood can just spread the weight throughout quite nice and evenly. It's perfect. It's just amazing what a bit of wood can do, really. Using this technique, what we're doing now, you know, it goes back to the pyramids times. You know, it's wood proves it, packing up, moving it up gradually. It's proven. We've done it for thousands of years, and we're still doing it now. It's amazing, really, isn't it?
With the ramp assembled, secured and supported,
Okay.
Yeah, go on, take the slack if you want.
the winching can start.
This is delivering the crown jewels this at the moment, so I mean, we've got to be as nice as we can with this.
Just a crucial bit now when the wheels are starting to come up onto the tips of the ramp.
It's a case of just gently bringing it up there as slow as possible and just checking every time what we're doing, because you're lifting one wheel set off one rail onto another, so of course things can happen like. So there's loads of different things happening at once.
But as the king inches up the ramp, there's a problem. The brakes have locked.
Obviously the brakes are quite tightly adjusted. Yeah, that's all it is. They'll be all right now because obviously the wheels should do. I can remember after.
Without the wheels turning, she'll never make it on or off the transport. Rostock Port, Germany. And one of the biggest heavy lift vessels in the world is taking on board wind turbine sections called monopiles, some as heavy as 1,200 tons. With the first of 6 monopiles loaded, the second lift is underway. For Captain Mark Bichowski, loading the monopiles with a total weight of 5,200 tons is a challenge, let alone in the dark.
Come again?
Each crane 250.
Yeah, of course, at night, yeah. Visibility is definitely an issue. You can't see things properly. And also, yeah, during winter time, it's cold outside. Yeah, of course, it's more challenging during night to do such kind of operation. Henning, Mark. Henning, halftime, 400, they can open the clamps.
400 open clamp.
Right now, cargo is hanging completely. So basically, the chief officer is just lifting the pile up now until it's clear to pass over the side of the ship. And then he will maneuver the pile into the cargo hold. And I will control the ballast here from upstairs to keep the ship stable and upright. The most important thing is the communication between the crane operators, the lift supervisor downstairs and me, so that we all work together. It's hard, especially at night, to see the crane wires. You always need to keep an eye on it. You need to listen on the cranes if there might be something wrong, some technical failures or something like that. Yeah, we hope nothing goes wrong.
The solid steel monopiles are too large to transport by road, impossible to get around corners, and heavy enough to collapse bridges. The sea is the only route for cargo this big.
It's a big piece of cargo. It's a huge thing. Crane 1, crane 2, stop, stand by.
To ensure all 6 monopiles are loaded in time for their 11 a.m. departure, the crew will work through the night.
For me, I'm staying inside. For the guys outside, it's much harder. I have a coffee machine upstairs, it's heated. I have a toilet nearby, so for them it's much more difficult downstairs.
The top deck of the vessel is sealed with removable steel hatch covers. Project manager Frank Escher goes below deck to check there's no chance of any movement from the load.
All cargo loaded inside the hold is already secure. The stowage is very tight, but as planned.
With 2 monopiles now on board, the crew toil on through the night, getting another 2 with a combined weight of 1,900 tons loaded on the top deck. By 8 a.m, the load is secured by longitudinal lashing wires, each capable of holding 30 tons, which are screwed tight to firmly hold the load in place. Chief mate Bo Viner Valoria plays a key role in making sure the load is secure.
Now I'm making check for the lashing of the cargo. Before we are departing, we have to be secure everything. It must be in safe place. You never know what's outside over there in the high sea. Or maybe, and I like to sleep at night, especially. So nobody bother me. So I must secure before we leave there. Just only 90 degrees on the lashing, and the movement of the cargo, all being computed with our engineering department.
As well as lashings, Frank and Bovey need to check the wooden wedges lining the steel carrying cradles.
Yeah, the two new ones are fitting perfectly. It's now only this one, you see there's still a gap up there.
To create friction and stop movement, 80% of the wedge lining has to be in contact with the monopile surface.
As it should be, huh?
Within 3 hours, the last 2 monopiles are loaded, and the 160-metre-long, 15,000-ton Svenja is ready to leave port. The ship's route will take them from Rostock port, transiting the Kiel Canal to the North Sea, before heading onwards to the port of Rotterdam.
We completed the loading, sea fastening is done, all ship's gears secured. We are leaving berth number 10, turning around, backing out, turning here in front, and then we will proceed out of Rostock.
The only possible route has one major drawback.
Forecast in the North Sea, we can expect around 45 to 50 knots wind gusts, and with this cargo, it's too much. Once you are out of the Kiel Canal, and in the North Sea we expect westerly winds, so there is no place to hide for a ship of our size.
"850 kilometres away, at the historic North Yorkshire Moors Railway, heavy load haulage manager Gareth Buscombe is struggling to winch a 90-ton, one-of-a-kind steam engine onto a low loader before it can be transported 224 miles back to its permanent home in Didcot, Oxfordshire.
We're hoping when that starts to get on the tip, it should start rolling. Nah, you're going to have to get them brakes off. I know it's going to, but I've got to get that off, haven't I? So.
To make transporting the train safer, the boiler tank has been drained of 18,000 litres of water, lightening the load by 17 tonnes. But it's also caused a problem. The uneven distribution of weight has stretched the brake cable, pulling the brake shoe onto the wheel and locking it as it left the ground.
The brakes are quite tightly adjusted, you see. So with the loco being empty of water and trying to go up onto a ramp, the wheels move in the frames and they're locking the brakes on. That's bloody tight, that is.
Although the engine could be forcibly winched on, unless the wheels can freely rotate, the engine won't be able to roll down the ramp, making the offload impossible.
It's that middle brake is binding.
The Highways Agency has approved a particular time window for the load to be on the road to avoid traffic disruption. And now, already behind schedule, it's down to Coaches and Carriages manager Kieran Murray to come up with a solution.
So what we're having to do now is actually take it off a ramp, but we're having to put it over a pit, go underneath it and adjust the brakes, then come back and try again. It's a big, big delay. I needed this on the lorry now and the next one in, so it's really screwed up my plans for today. It's not what I needed.
With the King Edward back on the flat rails, the brakes have loosened and it's back to the inspection pit, where Gareth and Kieran struggle to slacken the cable that will unlock the brake.
So we'll go underneath, we'll adjust the brakes best we can. We already have done it once, but it's still not enough.
There's nothing in that side.
Just that little bit more into the screen.
Just have a look at that brake block on the middle axle. We've got a gap there now. Yeah.
Finally, with the brakes unlocked, a delayed Kieran shunts the King back to the trucks.
It's amazing how quick it can go, pear-shaped, and you're back to square one, like. It's just hard because you try and fit 3 jobs into a day, and half the time you're lucky if you get the first one done, like.
With the King lined up to the ramp and uncoupled, the winchman gets in position for the second attempt.
He's just going to get in his little perch. Go on, Rob, just take the slack. Can we start pulling now?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, he's now uncoupled now from a diesel, so we're going to start pulling. That winch, I believe, is a 27-ton line pull, so in effect it could pick 27 ton up in the air. And watching it all the way, making sure each wheel gets onto the blade. You wouldn't want it on your finger, would you?
It's slow but steady progress. But finally, the 90-ton King is successfully loaded onto Gareth's 190-ton capacity, 22-metre-long, extendable low loader.
That'll do. We're going to secure the loco on now, like we've got to chain it all up, and so obviously there's no brakes on this now, so you rely on the chains.
With the train's brakes now completely slackened off, a sudden stop could cause catastrophic consequences, with the engine crashing through Gareth's cab. So Gareth is using steel chains to secure the engine.
It's not about how many, it's just where you put them, really, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, this will probably have 16, 18 on, something like that.
With the engine successfully loaded, the process is repeated again onto a second truck, this time without a hitch, for the King's coal tender.
I think these lads will want to be ramped up straight away and on the road, try and make up some time. We've achieved it. It's been a very, very long day. We've had a few hiccups, but we've done it now. The King's loaded up and it's tender. Just about to pull out now on its way home. All I want to do is finish and go home and have a nice pint. It's been a long, long day, but look, it's done. I feel like I've achieved something today at least. There she goes. Oh, I might see it again.
Although Kieran might be able to relax with a well-deserved pint.
How are we looking on them trees?
Yeah, going all right, yeah.
Haulage manager Gareth still has a demanding 224-mile journey ahead of him to Didcot in Oxfordshire.
It's always a relief to get going after you've been, especially this sort of weather, get back in the wall.
Despite the weather, a few locals have turned out to wave the King off. Now leaving Pickering and leading the convoy, Gareth can focus on the road and the challenges ahead.
Always got to be a bit wary of obviously bad cambers on the road, you know, big potholes can cause a lot of damage, you know, with the weight we got on the suspension and the tyres and that. This is the only working example of this particular type of engine. There's always a bit of pressure on to make sure you get it right, because if you damage something like this, it can be a costly mistake.
Before transporting abnormal loads, to minimise disruption, hauliers must notify the police, highway authorities and bridge owners like Network Rail. After being issued with a movement order, Gareth's convoy needs to stick to the route and times specified, which means they can't drive during rush hour.
It takes as long as it takes with this sort of stuff, you can't rush it.
But delays during the day, a late departure and deteriorating weather conditions are disrupting his schedule.
I think we're going to have to stop fairly soon for the rush hour. We're getting close to our time, so if we find somewhere suitable, I'll be pulling in, and that'll probably be it, and I'll get an early start. Yeah, go get a bite to eat somewhere and shower and an early night. Come off here, Mel.
All right.
It's fairly wide as well, so it's safe to get out.
But with 100 miles still to go and their times of permitted travel exhausted, this is as far as Gareth, the King Edward and the second truck carrying the tender are going today.
What are we going to have for dinner?
40 kilometers offshore in the Baltic Sea, heavy lift vessel Svenja has been struggling to get close to the entrance of the Kiel Canal. Her cargo, 6 sections of offshore wind turbines called Monopiles, weigh 5,200 tons. And it's not been plain sailing.
We proceeded from Rostock to Kiel over the night with slow speed only. And this morning, 8:30, we dropped the anchor near the Kiel lighthouse. We are just 3 miles. You can see the Kiel lighthouse even over there. We're going to wait here because the wind speed here up to 70 knots and 5 meters waves. For this cargo, I have a weather limit of 3.5 meters or maximum wave height limit. I think will be another 12 hours, something like that. We will just resume our voyage tomorrow early morning.
"12 hours later, it's safe enough to continue the journey.
The weather cleared up and we are shortly before the Holtenau locks of the Kiel Canal. We still have to wait a little bit because few other ships coming out of the canal, and then we are good to enter.
Relieved to finally be on the move, lashings are tightened as captain and crew prepare to set sail.
You can call captain from here. Hello? See, already.
Since leaving Rostock in Germany 3 days ago, Svenja has only travelled 200 kilometres. Rotterdam in the Netherlands is the final destination. Only 98 kilometres of the Kiel Canal stands in her way. To help the captain guide the ship from the lighthouse to the first lock at the canal entrance is pilot Fred Speakerman. He knows the lock inside out and will be the contact person for the lockmaster.
We are restricted on the speed 6.5 knots, 12 kilometers per hour. And the vessels behind us, the smaller ones, they can go 8.1 or 50 kilometers per hour. So, and due to the wind from the side, we need a little bit bigger entering speed. Yeah, I prefer to have a little longer stopway. Yeah, that's why I said we go in as first, and they can overtake this vessel inside the lock.
Once they get closer, just fitting will be a challenge, but Fred has a plan.
The vessel's beam is 28 meters normally. Today, with the extended cargo, it's the maximum beam 32 meters. The lock clearance is 42, and that means it's a pretty small hole to hit. We have the wind straight from the side, and that's why I decided to go in as first, so just to have a little more safety.
A 160-metre-long ship with a dead weight of 15,000 tons will do a lot of damage if this manoeuvre doesn't go according to plan.
What's happened in the past is sometimes a vessel hit the gate. It's a lot of repair work. We try to avoid it, of course.
Captain Bichowski now just has 5 metres spare on either side. The Kiel Canal is constantly being widened to accommodate the ever-increasing size of ships, like Svenja. Completed in 1895, the canal allows such vessels from Germany to shave 365 kilometres off their journey to the North Sea. Once in the lock, the ship will rely on the bow and stern ropes to hold her in place. The gates on one side will be open to raise the water in the lock to the same level as the canal.
It looks successful. It's done. I go off now. My colleague is coming soon on board. And when the gate is opening to the canal, the vessel's leaving into the canal. So that's it. Okay, Captain.
Captain.
Cheers.
We are just waiting for the canal pilot as well and for the canal helmsman. And if everybody is on board and the forward lock gate is open, then we will start our voyage.
With the water at canal level, Svenja is free to continue her journey. Canal pilot Stephen Schroeder swaps with Fred. He's the expert for the next shallow section of the canal.
You can see there these traffic lights. They give us also information what we have to do, that you make sure all the time you have enough clearance under the keel. Yeah? The maximum draft of vessels passing the canal is 9.5 meters, and we have 8.9 already, so there's not much more clearance possible. You have only 1.5 meters under the keel. That's not so much. The speed is also a huge factor, means as faster as you go, as deeper you go.
As well as the depth of this century-old canal that took 9,000 workers 8 years to complete, the other hazard is its bridges, 7 in total, with a clearance of just 40 meters. And then there's all the other boats on the water.
Basically, we're just driving in the middle. And if there are other ships coming, bigger ships from forward, then one of the ships need to wait on certain places that the other can pass. Yeah, we can basically, with our size, we can just pass with smaller ships only in tugboats, something like this. But if there is another ship of our size, we cannot pass each other in the canal. There are just some defined places where we can pass each other. And if we don't match with the schedule somewhere, then one of the ships need to wait. And there is a traffic coordination center here in the canal, and they're arranging all this.
The canal usually takes 8 hours, but due to her speed, Svenja will complete it in around 12. It's time for pilot Stephen to leave the ship. As he leaves for land in Holstein, Svenja heads onwards to the North Sea for the final stage of the journey. Didcot in Oxfordshire. Patiently awaiting the arrival of the King Edward is Railway Centre Manager Roger Orchard.
Didcot Railway Centre is a unique institution that's created over really virtually the last 60 years to celebrate the greatness of the Great Western Railway. So we have 20-odd steam locomotives there and basically 40 to 50 carriages and wagons.
After an early start, having spent the night in a lay-by, one of the stars of the collection, the King Edward, finally arrives back at her permanent home.
A lot of our members and visitors do like to see her. She's a magnificent engine, 20-odd years in the restoration and worthy of its name, really. We've got to get the lorry onto the pad and we'll start to unload the locomotive. Sounds easy, but it does take a bit of a while, especially in weather like this.
Now, despite the conditions...
Hello, mate. How are we doing? Yeah, not so bad. I've just got to...
Roger and haulage manager Gareth need to safely get the engine off the truck and back on the tracks.
We've got to get the lorry onto the pad and we'll start to unload the locomotive and the tender. Arrived at Didcot now, we're just getting the ramp set up and ready to let the loco off. Yeah, everything in reverse. Let the loco off and then start packing it all up again. They're going to be manoeuvring the lorry so that the actual ramp lines up with the rails on the pad here. I should mind out of the way. Yeah. If you don't get it lined up, then you can easily derail her when she comes off the ramp onto the track.
Once again, the rail ramp needs constructing at a shallow 20-degree angle and well supported, so the weight of the 90-ton steam engine is evenly distributed during the offload.
We're getting there, they're now blocking up the ramp. The remaining chains will come off and then obviously she'll be winched down. Obviously could do with a clean, but yeah, considering the amount of work she's had over the last few months, no, she's looking all right. Yeah, pleased with it. Pleased to see it back.
With the ramp assembled, Gareth prepares to winch the engine off the trailer.
We're going to let it off with a remote this time, so it's quite nice because you can watch and see everything that's going on. And it is a bit safer, really, to be fair.
I have every faith in Gareth and the team. I mean, it's what they do as their bread and butter, but yeah, you can never be complacent. You never know if obviously the chains or the winch is going to fail or anything. But I must admit, you always have a sigh of relief when it does actually end up on the track, on the ground.
As the King is slowly winched off,
But just put some more packers under them blade bits. Just those bits, it'll bend the mouse.
Gareth's concerned the ramp hasn't been built up enough to evenly support the 90-ton weight of the engine.
I'm just going to put a couple more packers underneath the blades. That's quite heavy on the back when it comes off. That's better. Right, we'll try again.
But as the engine nears the base of the ramp, there's a problem.
Oh, it won't quite run off the last bit.
Because of the shallow angle and the slow offload, the 90-ton engine doesn't have the momentum to ride over a small 10mm join between the ramp and the track.
Because it comes down gradually, sometimes they get to the end and then they just need a bit of persuasion to get on that last little bit off, onto the ground. But we'll get there.
Gareth has a solution. Winching the engine a few centimetres back up the track and holding it in place with a spanner.
Probably go over my spanner, won't it? Maybe at the front, is it? All right. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. All right.
Good. One down, one to go.
With the engine successfully offloaded, the same process is repeated with the 46-ton coal tender.
Can we just ask you to give us a hand just to push it this last little bit? Please. Pretty please. Right, 1, 2, 3.
Before finally, the two halves of the King are once again joined together.
Hey, man. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
We're all done now. That's all, the engine and tender's all offloaded. We're all just finishing packing up and home for the weekend.
The job's gone really well. The boys have unloaded both the loco and the tender, all connected up, ready for her to be pulled back over the railway centre, where she'll get a good clean and re-steamed, ready for our next open day. It's good to see her back and back in our care and that. It's great to see her go elsewhere, but it's always nice to see her come back home.
"10 kilometres off the Dutch coast in the North Sea, the 15,000-ton freighter Svenja and its wind turbine cargo is ready to come into the port of Rotterdam. Captain Mark Bichowski is the man tasked with getting her in safely.
So we just arrived at Rotterdam Roads, and within the next 30-40 minutes the pilot will board our ship, and then we are proceeding to Maasvlakte. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's the biggest port in Europe. And yeah, it's pretty big, yeah. There are coming huge container ships, tankers, installation ships, and even small coasters, and they still have also a lot of inshore traffic, small river barges and so on. Yeah, it's really big and sometimes really crowded.
So crowded that this 28-metre wide powerhouse must move at 10 kilometres per hour as it heads slowly inland. It's taken more than the average sailing time to get this far, a total distance of just 700 kilometres.
It was just 3 days now with almost a day waiting, I think. Yeah, it was a day. Yeah, basically it's just a short voyage. I mean, you have from Rostock to Kiel, it's 4 hours, then around 12 hours crossing the Kiel Canal, and then it's another 12 to 13 hours to reach the Maas pilot station.
The Borsel wind farm, where the monopiles will be installed, is only 22 kilometres offshore from the Netherlands. The port currently houses over 100 monopiles as part of a 15-year plan to build and expand 6 offshore wind farms in the North Sea by 2030. Borsel, once complete, will need over 100 turbines.
On the terminal where we are going, at the SIF terminal, they're producing monopiles, and they use it also as storage area or for mobilization and demobilization of installation ships. Alongside.
Coming alongside, it's time for the next harbour pilot to join the ship. Everyone waits for the green light to enter the dock.
Port 5. Port 5. Port 5.
chief mate, Bovinair Viloria, is on board to handle communication.
Outstation, approximately your position will be on the band, with the light of orange.
Captain Bichowski must bring the ship slowly alongside the dock. But at 15,000 tons, the vessel can easily produce waves against the harbour wall that can make it hard to manoeuvre. And he's not happy with the tension the crew on the ground are putting on the spring line. A rope tied diagonally from the bow of the ship to the wharf and made fast to prevent Svenja from moving while docked.
No, hold forward spring.
Just hold the spring forward.
He should not slack the forward spring. Bowie, don't slack forward spring.
They are picking up slack, Chip. Outstation as soon as possible, you send your leading line on the aft.
The dock's fenders are now also an issue. Used as a buffer between the ship and quay wall, the captain's anxious they're too small for a load as big as this.
We don't have proper fenders, only this Mickey Mouse ones. It's to be a bit carefully more than usual.
Solid concrete.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Concrete to steel is not a good combination.
As the ship edges closer and closer, Captain Bichowski fears the small fenders are not tough enough to buffer the huge steel hull against the concrete harbour wall.
More or less stern a bit more, forward fender almost touching. Almost there.
Forward and up, we are in position.
It takes 17 minutes for the captain to dock his ship without so much as a scratch to the vessel or cargo.
Yeah, we just arrived here in Rotterdam at the SIF terminal. Tonight we will discharge the monopiles, or we will commence to discharge the monopiles until tomorrow afternoon about. And yeah, then we will close the hatch again, load the saddles back, and then we're going back to Rostock and do the same trip one more time.
Over the next 24 hours, the monopiles are offloaded without a hitch. They'll join all the other monopiles in storage. As nations move towards renewable energy, all these monopiles are destined for different wind farms throughout Europe. The 6 monopiles that Svenja carried are part of an ongoing multi-billion-euro plan for Dutch renewable energy using the North Sea. Borsel alone, once completed, will power 1 million Dutch homes.